Okay, we're just going to allow some time for everyone to join us on the session today. I'm delighted to have some of our students that will be starting studying with us in both January and February. Today's session is going to be for everybody that is going to be studying at the International College on a pre-masters or undergraduate programme. Don't worry if you've missed anything today, or if you're in the car trying to hear the webinar, we will have the recording available for download, and we'll also have another session in the new year to ensure that you have all of the information that you need to come and study with us. So today we're going to share with you lots of pieces of information that you will find helpful, but we also want to draw your attention to some of the great facilities that we have here on Zoom. So you are welcome to use the chat function and use the Q&A function in order to ask questions of our panelists here at the college. We have lots of people here that are able to share with you information about what we expect from you when you're studying with us and what you need to prepare and all before you travel. So what we're going to do is we're going to share with you a presentation today and some of those really key points about what to prepare when you're traveling, and we'll introduce you to some of the staff that we have here at the college. So let's go ahead and get started today. And I'll introduce you to some of the staff and what we're going to cover in the session today. So today we're going to be covering lots of those pieces of information that I mentioned. We're going to introduce you to some of the team. We're going to introduce you to our college services and those types of services that we offer here in the college. We'll give you an indication of some information about preparing to travel as well, which is really important, especially as we go into the Christmas season. And a bit of information about getting registered, orientation, and just generally letting you know what to expect in those first few days when you travel here to Scotland. So first things first, I'd like to welcome our college principal and director, Alistair Baker, to introduce the college and welcome you to today's session.
Thanks, Susie, and welcome everyone. So my name is Alistair Baker. I'm the college principal and director, and I've been in this role for 11 years since the college started. And it's been a pleasure to be part of this college all those years, and we're growing as a college. We're growing our student numbers, we're growing our staff numbers. The outcomes that we've had over the 11 years has been consistently high, and a huge part of that is down to the incredible staff that we've got. You'll meet some of them today, and what we'd ask you to do is work with us, is keep in touch with us, let us know how you're getting on with your visa application process, how you're getting on with finding your accommodation. Let us know of any worries or issues you have along the way, and we'd like to be here to offer you that support to make sure you can get here on time, get started with your studies, be successful, progress on through your course, and be successful ultimately at the university. So a little bit about the college. We are right in the heart of the campus. It's a very snowy campus today. We've had some wintry weather. We don't usually have a lot of snow, but we've had snow the last few days. But the college is very well equipped for studying. We have virtually all of our classes on in the college on campus, and the ones that we don't have in the college are by design. So we've got some of the labs, they happen in the university labs, and that's a short walk from the college. We also have some of our engineering labs and workshops in the school as well. So there's lots of opportunities, regardless of what course you're studying on, to get to know the campus and to get to know the library, for example, and all the facilities that are on campus for you. So it's a very modern campus. The campus has grown over the last 8 years. It's situated close to a river on the outskirts of the town, so it's a spectacular place to work. It's a spectacular place for you to come and study. You'll meet lots of experienced lecturers. Our lecturers have your best interests at heart. And that's really part of our recruitment process. We want lecturers that have got the expertise, who are dedicated to their subject, and thirdly, and most importantly, is they will spend time with our students, getting to know you and developing your skills to allow you to make the best of your opportunities. So we're really proud of the staff that we have here. Some of the staff have been here for many years, and some are relatively new, but all have the same characteristics. So there's lots going to be happening over the next few weeks. We've got your enrolment, your travel here, your enrolment, your orientation, your introduction to your classes, and you'll be supported along every step of the way. So what I would ask you to do is please keep in touch with us. Let us know how you're getting on with the process. We're delighted that you've chosen to come and study here. We'll do everything that we can to make the experience the best that we can make it. And we've got some of our former students that can tell you all about their experiences, and you'll hear more from them as you work through the process. So thanks again for choosing ICRGU and RGU, and we're really looking forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alistair. And we're going to introduce you to some of our colleagues today that are here on the call. Now, some of them are panelists, and you can see our faces in the videos, but also we have some members of staff that are here based in the college, based overseas, in Lagos as well. And we've also got some of our former students, student ambassador that are joining us here today. So let's go ahead and introduce everybody in the session. Yang, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do here at the college?
Yes, of course. My name is Yang. I'm the college service manager here at ICRGU. So my main responsibility is to support you, support the staff, and to, while you are here, complete your academic life cycle. So once you have your visa, then you come to my department, and you can ask college services team all sorts of questions. Okay, we will deliver a session during the enrollment period to make sure you have a better idea when you start about the culture, about the college, about the platform you're going to use. So we'll cover some of this in the session today. Then if you are our team ultimate goal is to support you to let you have your great student experience, if I put this way, while you study here, and make sure you progress once you successfully complete your course here and progress to RGU to achieve what you're supposed to achieve. Okay, any questions, you can always email student service, and we will try our best to assist in any way we can.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Yang. And speaking of progressing to the university, we have a former ICRGU pre-master's student who is acting as our student ambassador, a role that we have here based in Aberdeen. Kamal, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Kamo Sendi. I am a former student at ICRGU, and I act as a student ambassador at ICRGU. Like as Yang said earlier, I work with the student services team, and basically our role is to support the students, and I serve basically here to share my experience from the student perspective. So basically, much as the student services team is to support you, I am to look at you from the area of a student as well and see the kind of support you're going to be able to be offered. I am currently a master's student in law. I'm doing my master's in international commercial law at Robert Gordon University. Like I said earlier, I'm a former student of ICRGU, so I'm ICRGU through and through. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing all of you in Aberdeen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kamal. So a brief introduction to just some of the staff, and you can also see some pictures on the screen of Miss Cindy, who works in our college services team, as well as Miss Funke, that some of you may have connected with during your application phase. What's really important for you to know is that all of these people here today are prepared to answer your questions. So they are on hand. Please use the Q&A area. I can see somebody's already started to use that. Please go ahead and use that that today so that our colleagues can answer questions for you. We have other staff members available, able to answer questions online. So please do ask your questions through that, as we won't be able to cover as many questions that might come up live in the session today. So please use the Q&A box that we have in the top, and Miss Yang, Camo and Alistair will be able to answer some of those questions for you during the session. So we want to get started and give you a bit of information about how to prepare for the next few weeks. It's not long before you join us here in Aberdeen. So our orientation weeks will start. We have 2 dates. The first one is our undergraduate registration date, which will start from Monday, the 16th of January next year. And then we have our postgraduate registration date, which is the 6th of February next year. So these are the dates that are listed on your offer letter and on your CASs if you've received one, in order to ensure that you are here on time and able to register for your programme. It's vitally important that you are in the UK in time for your registration. That will allow us to give you all of the documentation that you need in order to study your programme here at the International College. So you are required to make use of priority processing, or you are required to ensure that you have booked travel for yourself in order to join us here at the college on time. You'll hear a couple of themes that come out today, and one of those is that we must ensure you arrive on time for your studies, and that's important for any students that might be considering travelling with dependents for our postgraduate applicants. Please ensure that you travel and arrive here on time, and do not hesitate and wait for any family members that might be pending visa outcomes, as you are required to report here to the college in time for your programme. So these are the 2 dates to be mindful of. That's when your orientation and registration will commence for each of these programmes. During orientation, we have a lot going on. We ensure that you have access to everything that you will need during your studies here at the International College. We cover lots of pieces of important information about how to prepare, the types of services that we can provide you, the additional help that you can have from here at the college. We also introduce you to all your course lecturers and how they introduce their modules, and access to how you even access your academic modules online. We're going to show you about getting ready and understanding what Aberdeen's like, getting used to the local environment. And we even cover sessions on culture shock and preparing to study in a new country and city as you settle down. And it's a really important part of that to get to know each other and get to know your colleagues and settle down into the college and into the programme before your academic sessions start. We use these sessions to teach you how to use the resources available to you. By using those resources well, we know that you can be successful during your studies here. So there are many different orientation sessions that we ask that you attend during that first week. Also means that we can introduce you to your future RGU schools. So you can go and take a tour of the university and get to know where you're going to be studying your future degree or your MSc programme in the future. So a great opportunity to get to know the college, the services and the resources that we have here on campus. During registration, we ask that you bring with you all of your original documents. So if you receive a BRP card or you receive additional documentation, please bring that with you, as that will be required when you go through registration and enrolment with the college services team. We also ask that you bring with you proof of accommodation in Aberdeen. Now, that has to be in Aberdeen, the accommodation. You cannot stay elsewhere in the country. You do have to be here in person. As Alistair mentioned, we have our classes on campus here in the city, so you do have to consider the local area for your accommodation options. We ask that you also bring with you your emergency contact details so that we can connect with you, but also connect with any family members should we need, and any UK contact details, not only for yourself, but for any family members that we might be needing to connect with during your studies in here in Aberdeen. We want to be sure that you are safe, happy and healthy, so having these contacts is really important. So please do bring with you all your original documents for the registration process. During registration, we're going to issue you a lot of information and instructions. Don't worry, we go over it again and again and again to ensure that you know where to access all of our resources. But the reason why registration is so important is that we give you your ICRGU email and contact address. We teach you how and show you how to log into the portal for the first time. It's an area where you can check your timetable, find out when and where you need to be and when. And it's also an opportunity for us to help you register with Robert Gordon University to have opportunity to use their services, whether that's the free gym membership or whether that's receiving discounted bus travel. So it's in order to ensure that you have these documents so that we can provide you with all of those pieces of information during registration. Yang briefly mentioned some of the support services that we have available here on the campus. So our college services team, where Yang and Cindy, Lisa and Camo, they're there to help you as you come here to the UK and as you are studying here at Robert Gordon. So they provide you with lots of information. They'll send you emails to congratulate on your visa and send you information about preparing to travel. They'll tell you when and where any fees or finances due here at the college to ensure that you are on track with your payment. And we also give you information on how to register, enroll, but also really fun things too. So Yang and her team will organize campus tours. They have done some great activities, escape rooms, bowling. They've gone to the local amusement park here a couple of times. We get lots of pizza in the college, so please bring your appetites when you come to the college. We do lots of great things in order to ensure that not only are you enjoying your studies here academically, but you're enjoying yourself socially in your new study environment. So we're always open to suggestions for the types of things you might be interested in doing while you study here with us. Some former students have even gone down to Edinburgh and travelled throughout the UK and Scotland in order to appreciate their new study environment. The college services team also will give you support on how to access all of those resources, making sure that you're on point with your timetable, you know where to access your reading and your homework and your calendar. And that's going to be really, really important as you manage your studies here at the International College. So they are a great first go-to when you're here on campus or preparing to travel to ensure that you have all the information that you need to join us. There's also online resources that we have, and there's online sessions that we will run. And that includes things that cover accommodation workshops, working part-time in the UK, how to access information on registering with a doctor here in the UK, or opening a bank account. All of those resources we have been doing for many years, and we have built together a fantastic library of information called InfoHub. InfoHub, I'll introduce you a little bit, shows you the types of things that you can search for and access 24 hours a day during your studies so that you know that there's always information available to you if you have any questions. We also run specific transition events with the university for your subjects. So recently we've had students in pharmacy going over to the pharmacy school and interacting with the university there. And it's really important for us to connect you with your future studies at the university. So the InfoHub has access to lots of different pieces of information. So I'll show you some of those items in a moment. But what's really important is I point you in direction of Yang and her team. So they are available during the working week, Monday through Friday, and we have an emergency number that is also shared with you before you travel. But there's also a fantastic email address if you have any questions as you are preparing to travel to the UK. So if you have your visa in hand, please do send us your visa now. We're so excited to hear about your travel plans and get to know when you'll be arriving, and also to send you congratulations on receiving your visa. So please do send that information over. College services will advise you if there is information in the InfoHub, the one that I mentioned before, to maybe access that information as well. So we'll show you how to use that during your orientation and enrollment. It's a really fantastic resource. It has in there information about the student forums, about college services chat options. It also has about orientation and enrollment. And it's also where you'll find some helpful presentations about preparing for your studies here in the UK. So that info hub will be accessible to you after registration, but it's just a really helpful tool for you to use as you start to settle down into your new life here in the UK. We have lots of online resources that you will use that cover everything from registration, enrollment, finance, as well as the info hub and email address. So it's all available to you online 24 hours a day. And after your registration, you will be given access to that. And we'll show you how to use it. We'll make sure that you're using it throughout your studies, as that's where you'll find a lot of those great resources for your studies, as well as for our social calendar as well. So we want to cover a little bit about the timetable and about how to prepare to study with us. In order to ensure that you are in your student status and for the Home Office to ensure that you keep your student visa, you must attend all timetabled sessions here at the International College. Attendance is taken at every single session, and it's really important that you attend. This is because your attendance and engagement is attached to your visa. So you will need to be here on campus for all of your timetabled sessions, and we will look out for you to ensure that you are meeting that requirement. You also must enroll for all available modules. When registration opens, we send out a really helpful guide on how to enroll online, and we can also help you in person. For undergraduate students that are starting with us in January, most of you will be studying a 4-module first semester. For our pre-masters, all of our students will be studying a 3-module semester. So those types of things we'll make sure that you get right, but you must have a full course load and enroll for the full course load during your studies with us. And that's important in order to ensure that you are meeting the requirements of your student visa here in the UK. Again, we'll always keep you right, don't worry. You'll be able to access your timetable using your online student portal, and it shows you the timetable for the whole semester. So it will show you exactly what dates that you're supposed to be in, who your teacher is, what your module's called, and where that class will be, so that when you come here to the college, you know exactly where you need to be and when. It will also show you that all of our classes are UK time, and you will need to be on time for those classes. Classes start, for example, if a class starts at 9 AM, students are required to be in the classroom ready to go for 9 AM. So we recommend that you arrive 10 to 15 minutes early for each of your classes in order to ensure that you are not locked out and not unable to attend. As we mentioned before, the enrollment is the registration and attendance is taken at each session. So that is something that will be connected to your studies. So please ensure that you check your timetable regularly. And again, we will show you how to use that. So we're talking today about a lot of different things, and this pre-departure is in order to ensure that you are really ready to get started with us. So we're going to cover some items about how to prepare to actually come to the UK and how to prepare to travel and the things that you might want to consider as you do so. So really importantly, we want to show you your new student city. Here is the city of Aberdeen. This picture was taken in summertime. It wasn't taken today, as we have got snow today. You can see some of the environment here in Aberdeen. We're a seaside city. You can see the city centre here and our harbour, which is a really oil and gas focused hub. And it's a really busy student city. So we want to tell you a little bit about that environment, get you looking forward to coming to study with us. You can see some more shots of the city, the beach during the summertime. We also have some beautiful green spaces and environment here in Scotland. And we also have some amazing historical areas. So we have castles, as you can see, some of them newer and some of them a little bit older, but you can see Marshall College, which is our city council building. And you can also see Dunnottar Castle, which is a great place to go and visit. So hopefully you're looking forward to be able to adventure in your new student city when you come here in January. So to prepare to travel to Aberdeen, there are lots of different ways to get here. So we are really, really well connected to the rest of the UK and Europe. Aberdeen does have an international airport. So if you are looking to make travel arrangements, you can consider flying through some of the larger European hubs and arriving into Aberdeen and going through immigration in the smaller, easier immigration environment, which is the Aberdeen International Airport. So you might want to consider flying via Amsterdam or Paris. Those options are available to you. Alternatively, of course, you can fly via London and London Heathrow, which has great connections to here in the city. We do ask that you look into any additional travel requirements at this stage based on your home country. So double check with your airline if there are any additional requirements prior to traveling to the UK. And we will want to welcome you. If you do want to book an airport meet and greet, for example, I can tell you how to do that as well. So pre-departure, this is before you're even getting ready to travel. We are going to say this many, many times today, and you will see this throughout our pre-departure guide and our pre-departure emails. We are advising all students must have booked and confirmed accommodation here in Aberdeen before you travel. We also require that you maybe send us confirmation of that accommodation, as ICRGU will not be able to book you accommodation on your arrival here in Aberdeen. If you want to book an airport transfer, our colleagues, Ms. Yang and team, will send you out how to do that when you confirm your visa with us. So we'll send you the link so that you know how to book your airport transfer up to 72 hours in advance. Now, please note that airport transfer is only available for those arriving into Aberdeen Aberdeen Airport, not into the alternative airports provided here in the UK. We do advise you to have a globally recognized bank card with you so that you can easily access your funds in order to settle down, or if you need to do any shopping when you first come here for food, in order to ensure that you have the fridge filled for your first couple of weeks. We do also recommend that you travel with you some UK currency so that you can have that on arrival should you not be able to access any funds in your account. So we do advise you to have that, and some more information of that is included in our online pre-departure guide. We recommend that you carry in your hand luggage, or easily accessible for you, all of your documentation required for visa, including your CAS documents and any financial sponsors. That's in order to ensure that if you are requested at the immigration and arrivals, you're able to provide that very easily when asked. You may also be told to provide additional English language requirements when you travel. So please ensure that you have everything that you used for your CAS to come and study with us available for the immigration team to review on arrival into the airport. We recommend that you take with you up to 3 months of medical prescriptions that you may require. So it's really important that if you have any medical prescriptions that you take consistently, that you travel with the appropriate amount. We do recommend a minimum of 3 months supply before you get on the plane. We do not recommend that you wait and try to get prescriptions here, because you do have to register first, and that might take you some time. We also say to travel with you contact details of emergency contacts with your parents or your guardian here in the UK if you have one, or your family members overseas, and make sure that you take note of the ICRGU emergency number. One of my colleagues will put that into the chat function now so that you can take note of that emergency number before you travel. So one of my colleagues can do that today. Mentioned about the booking arrival transfer, so make sure to book that meet and greet at least 72 hours in advance, and a person will meet you at the international airport and welcome you and take you to your pre-booked accommodation. So you must have an address available for booking a meet and greet before you book one. So ensure that you have that suitable accommodation ready and an address in order to provide us if you do want the airport meet and greet. This is a really important piece of the puzzle. We are getting a lot of questions at the moment, and I can see some of them coming through on the chat. Accommodation here in Aberdeen is very, very busy. There is an extremely high demand for accommodation here in the city, resulting in limited availability in a number of different areas. Don't worry, there is accommodation available. It's just very, very important that you book this in advance or you start your research now before you travel. So we need confirmation of your accommodation in order to provide you with any further documents, for example, a bank registration letter or a doctor's letter. You will be required to provide supporting evidence of your accommodation here in the city. So it's really important to us that we hammer this information home. RGU accommodation is not available for families and is not suitable for couples. So it's really important that if you are traveling with any dependents, we recommend and the university recommend that you make suitable accommodation before your family travel to join you. So we are advising that students in the first instance, make sure you get here and then you can support your family to arrive in the future after you have booked appropriate accommodation for them to come into. So let's go through some of the options that are available. RGU has managed accommodations available for single students that are traveling, and that can be booked via the RGU website once you have received your CAS and RGU booking number. So once you have your CAS and booking number, you will be able to book with RGU accommodation directly. Please note they are closed during this Christmas holidays, so we want to ensure that you get that done before they head off. There's also private student accommodation that is designed just for students. It's the same as RGU, but it is privately managed and it has all of the bills included and all of the internet, etc., and heating. And that's ones like Unite Accommodation or Caldon Court. When you go to the RGU website and type in accommodation, they will fall under the alternative accommodation providers. Again, we'll send you out this information, or you can easily access the accommodation information on the ICRGU website, which will connect you through to the university and these alternative accommodation providers. There's also private letting available here in the city for any of the students that is looking for a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment. Obviously, that is done through private landlords or it's done through letting agencies here in the UK. There are different levels of items required based on what it is you are going to book. So some of them may require a financial guarantor or an initial upfront deposit of a number of months. So it's really important, if you're unsure, make sure you connect with the college here and we'll be able to point you in the direction of some resources that will ensure that you are protected if you are looking to book private accommodation. What we do recommend is don't just look in a small local area. We do recommend that you might want to consider expanding your search to other areas outside of Aberdeen city centre. The university is located in the south of the city, as you can see here on the map on the bottom left-hand side, you can see the RGU campus. But there is a fantastic bus network here that covers all of the city and some of the Shire area, which is the surrounding area in Aberdeen. And they connect really, really well with lots of different localities that do have plenty of accommodation available. So please take that into consideration if you are looking for suitable accommodation for you and your family, or if you are looking for a private let for yourself, please do consider expanding your search a little bit further in order to get the best accommodation for you during your studies. So if you are looking at this private accommodation, we are advising it does have to be booked independently. ICRGU are unable to help you to book them physically. You do have to book them yourself. And we also recommend that you read the RGU Union Live Right information. Again, we will put that onto the ICRGU accommodation page so that you can easily access some of this information. If you've already started your search for accommodation, if you're looking for renting a room, for example, in a house, RGU Move is a Facebook group that is run by and created by RGU students across Aberdeen. So you can look at potentially some properties to let, some rooms that might be available throughout the city, and you can start looking for people that might be looking for flatmates or might be looking for an accommodation with you. We want to ensure that you are protected. So you must make sure that you have all of the paperwork and you must make sure that your name is on them. So we want to help you do that. And in order to do that, we ask you that you book suitable accommodation before you travel so that you have time to do the search, to do the viewings and to look for it. So it's really important that you make that preparation and research in advance, especially with the time of year that you will be arriving here in the UK. We want to make sure that you have somewhere suitable to travel to. If you want to book the RGU accommodation, we're going to give you your RGU ID number. We'll connect you with them directly or via email so that you can connect with the university and hear about the options that they have available. As I mentioned, RGU has got limited availability, so please take that into consideration, as it might mean that you might have to look for private student providers. Again, you've seen it again, do not travel without booking accommodation. You must have that booked beforehand, suitable. And again, mentioning that family members or dependents will not be able to stay in RGU family accommodation. There is no such thing. So RGU accommodation is only for private students and individual students traveling alone. There's lots of different options at the university. Not all are available, obviously, with the September start date. So there are some that are available throughout the city, the most popular being the Woolman Hill Flats, which are available. And you can have a look at all of these different options, take some tours, and connect with the RGU accommodation team once you have your CAS. So these are the important parts about accommodation. Let's make sure that we drill through a couple more before. Please book before you travel. Remember, if you are traveling with a family member in the future, we do advise you book suitable accommodation for yourself and maybe have your family join you later so that you can focus on your studies. My colleagues will agree to this. The pre-masters, for example, if you were here for 10 weeks into the pre-masters, is an intensive program. It is designed that way in order to ensure that you can successfully progress to Robert Gordon University. And unfortunately, we don't want you to be distracted. We want you to be focused for those 10 weeks, as that's your one chance to do it. So we do advise that you consider traveling independently before you have your dependents joining you, as that is really important to ensure that you progress over to Robert Gordon University in September. There's some pieces of information about preparing to travel to study in the UK that I know you've already looked at. I know that you're aware of the cost of living here in the UK, but there's some things that you might just want to double think over before you travel. So the UK VI does give you an estimate about how much they think that will cover your living expenses. So that's 9,207. That's the number that we use during your visa application process. If you do have dependents traveling with you, you will be required to show additional evidence, no matter how old that dependent is. That's also an additional item that you'll need to show us during your CAS. To prepare for budgeting, we've got some really helpful cost of living guides available on our websites, in our pre-departure, and also available on the RGU website. So do consider that when you're looking at budgeting your studies throughout, as you won't be eligible to access any public funds here in the UK. You do have to be able to live independently and have those finances in place. You also shouldn't expect any part-time accommodation part-time employment to cover your tuition costs or your accommodation charges. So budgeting will be really, really important as you study here in the UK. So please do access some of those living guides and the cost of living information that's available online to prepare for that. We've mentioned again some of the traveling with family information. So looking at the budgeting from family size accommodation and childcare. Children are not able to join you on campus or within the ICRGU classrooms. So they must have suitable childcare arranged, which means you might want to consider those budgets. Here in the UK, there are some information about the cost of childcare per day on our cost of living guide. RGU are recommending that obviously if you're planning to travel to Aberdeen with family, you should travel alone first and secure accommodation before your family members travel. And if you're looking to stay, there are different providers, Airbnb, booking.com, hotels.com. These are some of the recommendations from the university that you might want to consider as you can book those shorter stays. considering that that budget will be between £65 to £100 per night, of course, dependent on where you choose. So that's a recommendation from our colleagues over at RGU that we want to share with you. So the part-time work, if you're considering working during your studies, you will see on your visa that you are eligible to work up to 20 hours per week. That's going to be, once you're settled in and once you start to look for employment, it's very competitive here in Aberdeen. So it may take time to secure a role if you are looking for part-time employment. And obviously there's an interviews process that's required through that, as well as getting your national insurance number. And we can give you further guidance on that once you are here. We do find that balancing work and studies can be quite difficult. So to ensure that you are prioritizing your studies, make sure that you're able to achieve that balance and time management. If you're having any difficulties with that, please do speak to us. We can give you some guidance on the best ways in order to prioritize your studies while you're with us. And we want to make sure that you understand that maybe considering your workload is secondary to your study load, you will have the summer off for our postgraduate students and our undergraduate students. You'll be able to work part-time as well during the weekends. Again, I mentioned it earlier, the pre-masters is vitally important in order to ensure that you can remain on our visa here, that you progress into the MSc. So we do ask that you focus on your pre-master's studies and prioritize that throughout the program here in Robert Gordon. So we have some fantastic resources that I'm going to share with you in the chat, which is our ICRGU pre-departure page. I'm going to show you how to access that. There's also some really helpful RGU pre-arrival information that's available that you can have a look at. Some of the information might only be for RGU direct students, but do ask us if you're not sure. Don't forget to connect with us via the Student Services and College Services team. Ms. Yang and Camo will be there to answer all your questions. And do send us your visa confirmation. That's really important so that we can keep track of your arrival dates and we can help you, especially as we go into the new year. The college will be closed for the festive period, so please keep that in mind if you are sending any emails over. The team will be having a holiday before you all arrive, so do take that into consideration if you are expecting turnaround times for CASs, etc. at this stage. I want to inform you all that there is the CAS application deadlines at this stage is booked for the 19th. So we do require your documentation and your financial documents to be sent over. And CAS is currently taking 7 working days to be processed. So do take that into consideration if you are sending anything at the moment, as it will take time for us to process the CAS due to demand. So I can see some questions coming in for my colleagues on the call today. Is there anything else that you think it might be helpful to share while I pull up the pre-departure on the screen here today? I don't think so. Maybe.
I think just to add, Susie has basically covered everything, but because I came in as an international student too, I understand that it's usually it's usually so much information, especially if you're on the other side. There is so much agitation and you feel like you've heard so much and you don't really know which one to take. So just like she said, just to emphasize, if you have any concerns, you can always just pop in questions and you'll be sure that you are going to get a response. And importantly, just try to travel if you can. If you're married, try to travel alone, at least for the pre-master's period, secure accommodation, and then you're able to travel in good time. And be assured that we have a very supportive team here. Once you just come in, or before you come in, just ask any questions and we'll be sure to give you the response. It's a lot of information, I know, but once you get off, try to read every email you get, open every link, and before you come in, you'll be sure that everything will begin to just settle in. So
that's really great advice. Really great advice. Thank you so much, Camo.
Can I just say as well, just to reiterate what Camo said, that being proactive, making sure that you look at the information, read the information that's been provided to you before you raise questions with us or phone is going to be there is a period of time between Christmas and New Year where the staff are on holiday, so that there won't be as many opportunities for us to respond to you. So what we'd ask you to do is make sure you read everything that we've given you, and use the links to look for accommodation in particular, and be proactive with that, so that you're taking that responsibility, because we're not able to do it. We're going to have upwards of 130 students, maybe even more than that, in January coming to the college. So that's a lot of people to try and help individually in terms of things like accommodation. So what I would ask you to do is take those steps, do the research, and make those connections. Use the links that we'll provide to try to get that sorted by yourself. By all means, get in touch with us if you're having issues, but please look at the information that we've provided. Thanks, Susie.
Thank you so much. So a really great resource, if you have not already gone on and had a look at it, is the ICRGU website. So we do put lots of pieces of information on there. The first one that I will point out to you is the accommodation area. So you can click on this link really quickly and access a lot of the frequently asked questions, and some of those links that I mentioned before, they'll all be uploaded in there for you to access. There's also information on where to get the airport pickup. So have a look there. You can see it's all really easily accessible on the college website. Probably one of the most important pieces of information is the pre-departure guide that we have. So we have built this with you in mind. It gives you lots of information. You can start navigating it and having a look for that information. So you'll find it here in the ICRGU website, where you can press the pre-departure guide area. And that will take you to our one that's designed. Tells you how to use it, don't worry, but in there it is an interactive guide that you can use, and there's lots of icons on there that you can follow. There's also some frequently asked questions that you can download from this page, and it means that it can answer some of those immediate questions that you might have before you travel to study with us. So please do have a look at the ICRGU website if you have not done so already, and our colleagues will be able to answer those questions while we're here in the office and on campus via email, and they will reach out to you as well once you've confirmed that you have your visa to come and study with us. So what I'm going to do now is, for our colleagues that are watching on the recording, I'm going to say bye-bye to the recording, and I will stop that there to answer some of the questions here live on the session.